Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Behavioral Web. The term of the week this time is antecedent. I'm Lily Roja.
I'm Mike Marquin.
And here we go. Or we don't go. We go.
There we go. And this video was suggested by Sherry Kennedy. She took a look at our last video on reinforcement, and she said that she liked it and she wanted to know more about antecedent stimuli and some other terms. So we're starting with her comment. I think the first thing we should do is define the term stimulus. So a stimulus is a stimulus event, something that acts on your senses. For example, a light, a smell, a taste, the sight of someone familiar walking towards you. All of these act on your senses, and it's the way that we interact with the environment. A stimulus can also be an absence of an event. So, for example, a missing note from a song, the sound of screeching tires that's not followed by a crash, or a stimulus can be a combination of events. And this video that you're watching is actually a perfect example of that, because video is a combination of moving lights and sound.
That is true. So, and what are antecedents? Antecedents are stimuli that happen before a particular behavior. Antecedent stimuli, they get the behavior to happen once. Now, what will maintain the behavior going are the consequences, particularly the reinforcers. And if you're not clear on that term, check out the other video that we have from last week that talks about reinforcement. So, over time, antecedents will signal a behavior that will be reinforcer.
Now, so some good examples of antecedent stimuli. One is certainly brands. Companies spend a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get you to recognize their symbols and their icons, so that when you want something that they sell, you'll know exactly how to find it. So, any product, placement, any labeling where you're going to see something, a brand or an icon, those are put there by companies to be able to teach you that here's where you can get the things that you're looking for. In addition to that, you'll also see stuff, signs that people can put in front of stores that say special offer or act now or limited time. Things like that tell you that you should hurry up and buy something, because there's a cheaper price that might be leaving soon.
So how do we use antecedents? We can use antecedents to get the behavior started. In order to get people to continue to respond to antecedents, we will have to constantly change the antecedents. So if all you want to use in a behavior modification program is the antecedent, you will have to constantly be changing and bringing something novel to the environment to get behavior happening. The only way that you would make antecedent effective at producing behavior is by pairing it with a consequence.
So let's start with the discriminative stimulus. And this is what Sherry was asking about. A discriminative stimulus is a signal. It's a signal that the availability of reinforcement following a response is present. So we're talking about the three-term contingency here. And we start with the discriminative stimulus, which is a stimulus, a signal. Then we have the organism has the opportunity to respond to that stimulus. And if that response is followed by a consequence, then the whole thing comes into effect, where the discriminative stimulus is the signal that a consequence, meaning a reinforcer, is available contingent on behavior.
So there we go. Sherry put on a comment that she wanted to hear about SDs that triggered our response in creating this video, and hopefully it will come up with a good consequence as you guys sharing it and commenting that you like and asking for other stuff.
Well, if Sherry in particular says that she likes it, then she's reinforced us for making this video in the presence of her comment.
Right? So come on, Sherry, take charge and comment again. So here's a couple of signs that we're used to, and they are meaningful SDs for most of us.
So come in, we're open, no parking. If you live anywhere in New York, you see that sign a lot.
Right.
Closed. My favorite is the one in the middle, the traffic signal. So you have a couple of things going on here. You have the red, yellow, and green traffic signal that we're used to. Below that, to its left, you have a number, telling the pedestrians that you only have about 17 seconds here to cross. And you also have the weather, which might be the signal for let's go out and make a snowman.
Right. I'd rather go out to the beach, though. So how are SD created? They are created through our experience. Pretty much the interaction between the environment and our behavior, the stimuli, our behavior, the consequences that follow, that will teach us how to respond to the environment. So let's take a look at an example.
So let's say you're walking down the street and you see a coffee shop. Let's call that an SD to start. You walk in and you ask for coffee. Both of those things are behavior. And as a result, you get a great cup of coffee. That's a reinforcer for that behavior in the presence of that discriminative stimulus. So to put it all together, your behavior was reinforced in the presence of a coffee shop, establishing it as a discriminative stimulus for good coffee. The more often you see it, go in and get good coffee, the stronger the SD becomes.
And that's how we end up becoming brand loyal, right?
And again, you see that with a lot of different brands. My favorite, for example, is this one. You know, people that go to the store and they buy their can of Coke, they know what to expect. They've never opened it and gotten a banana smoothie. But there are other stranger people that go out and like Pepsi. And for them, when they're thirsty, this is not the SD. They're not looking for that. They're looking for their blue and white Pepsi logo can. And for them, that's the SD, and that's what they'll buy when they're in the store. And most of the time, both of these products are on the same aisle or even close to each other near the same shelf, but people pick up what they like and what they expect and what they have a history of responding to.
Yeah, and that's exactly mediated by your individual experience. In your case, you like Coke. Hey, you know, I won't discriminate. I like Pepsi.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se, because everybody's got to like something.
For sure. So, in summary, SDs are developed, and they develop the control over our behavior through our experience, through our history of reinforcement in their presence.
And SDs tell us what behaviors are likely to result in reinforcement.
Learning to respond to SDs will help us gain greater access to reinforcers in our environment and ultimately have more opportunity to be happy.
That's right. So if you found this valuable, definitely leave us a comment, definitely subscribe to the blog, sign up for our newsletter, and share this with other people that you think might be interested. Again, we're going to be doing these as often as we can. The goal is to make the language of behavior analysis a little bit more accessible to people that are going for their exams, that are practicing in the field, or just looking for something to make it a little easier to understand.
Sure, and make sure to let us know what other topics you want to hear about. Sherry got first pick because she was the first one to say something.
And I bet because she was the first pick and her video got made that she's going to comment again.
Yay! Hopefully. Let's see.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, and if you want to reach us, here's our email. And now let me find out how to stop recording. See you next time.
See you next time.